What is going on, everybody? DSCuber here, and today I've got an unboxing of some puzzles that I picked up at a flea market. So I'm going to save this one, which is probably the more interesting one, for last, because I have a little bit to talk about this puzzle, and I'm going to hold off until the end of the video to do that. I'm going to go with this puzzle first. And no, this isn't actually a 3x3. This is actually a Cuboctahedron. I didn't even know that they mass-produced these. But just look at how atrocious this box is. Like, honestly, it's so pitiful, I almost want to throw it out. But because it's original to the puzzle, I'm not going to. Like, just look at this. It's like shrink-wrapped, it's torn, and dusty, and weird. I don't like this. Like, it's just garbage. But it's original to this, so I can't really throw it away. And this is the Cuboctahedron. Like I said, I didn't even know that they mass-produced these things, but this is actually a really interesting cubing mod. I was in the process of building one at one point, actually. So the way the mod's actually designed, you take a 3x3 stand, and you put the stand over one of the corners like this, and then you trace out the outline of where you're going to cut, and then you just Dremel this down, fill it, etc. I didn't realize that this was actually a mass-produced puzzle. Going back to the 80s, this is completely news to me. I was fairly surprised when I found this at the flea market, and I'm like, you know what, for $3, $5, whatever it was, at the time, because I got this a couple months ago already, I figured it was absolutely worth buying. And it's very stiff. Extremely, extremely stiff. That's, I guess, what you get when you purchase a Taiwanese puzzle. Most 3x3 knockoffs from the 70s, 80s, 90s, they were all made in Taiwan, and they're pretty bad. Then again, puzzles made back then are all pretty bad because they didn't have any of the modern speed cubing techniques that we have today. But this puzzle has gotten very, very little use, so you could tell how much an old puzzle's been used by how worn the interior is. And this is not worn at all. Like, this puzzle was probably purchased, played with a few times, and then left on a shelf for 25, 30 years, and then it wound up at this flea market, where I decided to purchase it. So because of that, I am going to actually put in a little bit of Marlube. Not too much though, because this is a vintage puzzle and I don't want to ruin the stickers, but just a couple drops here and there should do this puzzle some justice.
5 minutes later.
Alright, so with this cube all lubricated up, let's see how much more this improves. And it is loosening up a little bit, but not a lot. Actually, oh, okay, yeah, that's major improvement right there. But yeah, this would need a little bit of breaking in, but again, because it's a vintage puzzle, I don't really want to do too much to it, but it would be fun to break out and solve a few times. I always was a fan of 3x3 mods, shape mods especially. They've always had a place in my heart. Let's just put it that way. And this is no different. I was very surprised to find this in a flea market. I'd do a solve, but I kind of want to move on with the rest of the video and get to the Impossiball, because the Impossiball is also a pretty cool puzzle. And before I move on to the Impossiball, I want to do a quick checkerboard pattern, see how interesting this thing looks when checkerboarded. I'm sure it's going to look pretty crazy because the corner stickers are all kind of mixed up, and yeah, this looks really cool. It's very colorful, checkerboarded pattern. So yeah, there isn't really much else to this puzzle. Like, it's a 3x3 with its corners chopped off, but it's done so in a very interesting way. So I like this, and I will put out a solved video on it soon. So next up is the Impossiball. So this puzzle was produced around the same time as 3x3. This puzzle was widely regarded as a failure, mainly because it was so difficult to turn, and it would always catch. It was very prone to breaking, And to find a working one isn't that common. This was 15 bucks at the flea market, and I'm glad that I was able to find it in good condition, because these puzzles very easily break. And something else that's really interesting to note about it is that this is actually like a spherical Kilominx. So the Kilominx is the 2x2 equivalent of a Megaminx. So if the Megaminx is the 3x3 equivalent of a dodecahedron puzzle, the Kilominx is the 2x2 equivalent. And you can kind of see how this is a Kilominx. You have your pentagonal face on the top and bottom. You have the other pentagonal faces on the side. At any given point, you can view 5 of the faces. So this is a dodecahedron puzzle. And I was very confused at how to solve this. And then I realized that this is basically just a spherical Kilominx, and that made solving this puzzle much, much easier. So I'll go ahead and scramble this just so you guys can see what it's like on camera. I'm not going to solve it on camera. Liar! I'll save that for the eventual solve video. But you have to be extremely careful when you're turning this puzzle, because you can already see, like, if you're not careful, it locks up, and it's just very, very prone to breaking because of the way the pieces are designed. So this is the Impossiball when it's completely scrambled, and basically the way that you're supposed to solve it, the main idea is that you solve it like it's a Kilominx. So it's the Megaminx without its corners. I'll start with green. I'm color neutral, so I start solving puzzles any which face. It doesn't really matter to me.
Many minutes later.
Now it's just these top 2 corners. I got the first one done, and the second one is done. And there you go. That is the Impossiball. I almost don't even need to do a solve video on it now, but I'm still going to do one anyway, because like I said, this is a fun puzzle to solve, and it's rare to find one in working order. So this is probably one of my more prized puzzles, and I'm excited that I have it, because the Impossiball, again, it's just cool. And it's not super difficult once you kind of know how it's supposed to be solved. And yeah, it's unfortunate that there aren't remakes of this. If there are, I wasn't aware of it. But it would be nice to have a remake of the Impossiball that improves on the original design. Like, it shouldn't be that difficult to round out a Kilominx. Like, Kilominxes exist. I'm sure you could do a shape mod to get it into a ball, if that hasn't been done yet. Nathan Wilson, if you ever watch this video, you should do that. But yeah, this is the Impossiball. Very, very fun puzzle. And that's basically all there is to say about it. Like, yeah, it sucks that it's original design. Like, the pieces have to kind of like jump over each other. Like, the puzzle expands and then it snaps back down. Kind of dumb that it was designed that way. But that's the Impossiball. So thank you guys so much for watching this unboxing video of the vintage Cuboctahedron and Impossiball. If you guys enjoyed this video and would like to see some more cubing videos, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more cubing content. And as always, keep on cubing, guys. See you in the next video.